Hello and good morning, good evening, wherever you are, good afternoon even. Thank you for visiting the channel today and for joining me. If you're a newbie, I welcome you to the channel. If you're a returning visitor, I say thank you very much for joining me. In case you're not aware, my name's Anna. Obviously, I own the channel here. I put up my information and content and share it with people as part of um, expanding the pool of awareness, shall we say. Now, of course, my way is not the same as everybody's. We're all different. We're all unique individuals. It stands to reason. You may have different thoughts, beliefs, experiences, and I invite you to share them and to welcome them with me. Just a reminder, if you've had a tough life, we're going to be talking a little bit about things like that today. With lots of pain, everything will balance out at the end of the day. In my experience, I'm a firm believer in the fact that we are able to survive difficulties, challenges, and pain is an indication of just how much joy we can also carry, because everything is cyclical throughout life. And, if we would say the lower the pendulum falls, the higher it can spin when it does the reverse, when it goes full cycle. Obviously, it's not necessarily brilliant, shall we say, to have these really big gaps between the ups and the downs. So we strive to actually keep it balanced, but still have ups and downs, because life is a series of ups and downs anyway, but we want to keep them more manageable. Excuse me if my voice is changing, I'm shuffling around a little bit. But anyway, going back to it, yes, when it's on the high, that's an indication of, well, actually, more to the point, when life is on a low or a downward spiral, that's an indication of how many blessings are waiting for you and that you will have the opportunity to experience. You've just got to kick on, hang on through there. And the best way that I feel that we can actually do it is by using energy and healing. And in my personal experience, it's actually been through drawing upon the strategies that I provide with the angel content. But anyway, let's crack on, because I'm doing something a little different today. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about my experiences. I kind of figure that, people are becoming more active on the channel, which is really good, and I like to see it. I love to have that interaction with people. It's unfortunate at the moment it's kind of a one-sided conversation unless you put comments up. So basically, I say this tongue in cheek, but hey, it's all about me, but that's only because you can't talk back to me, okay? So today, what I wanted to share with you is what part of my personal story is what motivated me, because when I'm doing this angel content, I'm talking to people about the development, shall we say, of this yearning desire. This becomes the motivating force for us to actually to make this conscious decision to choose and grow and develop and expand our pool of wisdom, our connection. It could be whatever you want it to be. It might be that you want to be able to develop full psychic gifts, and of course anybody can be a psychic, but you've got to develop them in a healthy way to be able to retain them and to use them with positive outcomes and responsibility. But anyway, I'm not going to be talking so much about that. I'm talking today about what motivated me along this pathway. Now, it is a long story, so I'm not going to talk about everything. I'm just going to give you a couple of key points, and I'll try and bullet point as much as I can as to why I chose this pathway. And firstly, I want to be clear that I actually come from a family where anything to do with spirituality, psychic gifts, all of this kind of stuff, metaphysical, was something to be feared. It was very much a taboo subject right from a very early age, although I did have gifts. I just didn't recognize that this is what we had. As children, we were basically told that it was a vivid imagination. I wasn't the only child in my family to have gifts, by the way. So throughout my childhood, I had lots of experiences, excuse me, getting a bit coffee, that I refer to as seeing dreams. They were the things that used to happen more than anything. I did see spirit for many a year as well, but I just thought that I was imagining things. And so where I'm going with that aspect is through my childhood, it was happening, but I didn't realize it was happening. Okay, I minimized it. When I chose to actually step into my gifts was due to a number of reasons, and this is quite common. You'll see this. A lot of people, they go through stuff. To some level, it's associated with trauma. It might be people have a near-death experience, and from there they choose to consciously try to seek to control their gifts or to have more of it, or simply to develop their understanding of universal processes. Now, in my situation, what had happened, what was the major trigger for me, was I had actually ended my marriage, which was fraught with violence. I'm not going to talk too much about that. There's no point talking about it. It doesn't achieve anything. But either way, I made this shift away, and I found myself in a number of different scenarios. So I'll just give you some background here. I'd ended up in a refuge because obviously we'd fled. I had 3 children that I wanted to give the best life to as best as I possibly could. And they were my primary motivating factor, actually, because I had been told, there's a few things here. From a logical and rational perspective, by going into the refuge, I wasn't even aware, we just, when we have our life and things are happening, it's normal. We think it's all normal what's going on for us. But of course, when I went into the refuge was when I actually learned and fully understood that I had been a victim of domestic violence. For me, I just made excuses and justified, I guess, why things were happening as they did. But once I was in the refuge, I became aware of where I'd been. Things had a name to it. It made sense, actually. And not only that, I was informed that as a survivor of these types of situations, that we tend to repeat patterns. And so you can read into that what my thoughts were, which was like, well, no, because not only do we tend to repeat the patterns, find another violent partner, we tend to find one that is actually far more violent than the first one, which was something that wasn't attractive to me. My attitude was, no way, I'm going to root out whatever the cause of that pain is. Why I chose to get with a man like that, I want to heal that issue. And not only that, my maternal instincts were such that I did not want my children to be exposed to further violence. I wanted to be able to help them to live safe, happy, healthy lives. So that was the biggest motivator. So this might be a little bit repetitive for those people that have actually listened to some of my other videos. But if you haven't, I was living in a remote area of Australia, and obviously having left the marriage that I did under the circumstances that I did, understandably I was experiencing a bit of anxiety. And I decided to go to a meditation group because it was something I'd always wanted to do, because it's supposed to be this was my rationale at the time. Well, I've heard that it's very good for stress reduction. I'm a little bit stressed, not anxious, of course, I'm stressed. So I went along to what I believed was a meditation group, but actually it turned out it was a kind of spiritual circle with a difference. It was completely outside of my field of experience at that point in time. They started with an opening prayer. I wondered what on earth I'd actually put myself into. There was a healing list, and really, when we talk about it being a meditation circle, it was actually guided meditations. In hindsight, it was actually very good, to be honest. But in the process of me attending, I experienced my first out-of-body experience. It was a little bit scary. I didn't really understand what was going on. People had to explain it to me afterwards. And from there, I started to observe miracles happening because, obviously I was drawing upon energy in the early days. Now, I also was experiencing a lot of mother guilt at the time, having left my husband. And so part of me had this very logical, rational aspect of not believing in things that weren't tangible. If there was no evidence base to it, I just thought it was a bit of a whack job. So where I'm going with this is I attended a job interview and I had to leave a sick child at home on its own, and I took the child into the shop where this circle was occurring because I wanted to buy her a gift. And while I was in there, I saw that the lady did Reiki, and I didn't know anything about Reiki really at all. But either way, I shouted my daughter a Reiki session, thinking she was just going to, in fact, in hindsight, I've got no idea what I thought that I was giving her. But whatever it was, she came out shortly afterwards and all of her flu symptoms had gone. She actually had been coughing like every 30 seconds, which is one of the reasons why I decided to go and buy her a little gift at the shops, was to try and make her feel better. But either way, I said to the lady, "Oh my goodness me, how long has it been since she coughed? Because she's been coughing dreadfully." And they said, "Oh, it's the Reiki," as they do. So I thought, goodness me, I've got 3 asthmatic children. If you can cure a cough like that, I want some. So I was thinking it was something that could be bottled. So long story short, I ended up doing a Reiki attunement, and shortly after that, I had a cancer scare. And by that stage, my mind was opening up. So actually, I think I had the cancer scare before I actually did my Reiki attunements. But the cancer scare actually really motivated me to try and learn more about energy, because I obviously believed that once a person, dies, we'll use the death word, that actually that's not the end. I knew that spirits were around, and I wanted my children to know, if I passed away, that their mum loved them. So this is why I say my children were very much a motivating factor. So from there, what I did was I actually did a lot of self-work, a lot of energy work. I used to meditate every night for about 2 hours, and one of them I would do as just a relaxation meditation. It would be after I put my kids to bed, and then I would go into the visualization, the spiritual type ones, and I will put these strategies up over time as well. But this was all about me really trying to raise my energetic vibration and my light levels. I guess in some ways, looking back, I didn't really actually understand what those words meant either. I just knew that it was supposed to be a good thing. So I was literally trying to raise my vibration, trying to enhance my spirituality for the sake of my children, because that was something that was so important to me. I also started to see the magic somewhere along this pathway. It was a series of steps. This is why I've put Anah's steps as a label there, with me being drawn to meet people that would help to develop my mind, my thinking, my understanding. It would be that old saying that, when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. Now, the way the teacher arrived was actually really interesting, because for me, what happened as well is I actually have a long-term chronic health condition that I didn't actually. I honestly, sometimes I amaze myself with how did I not know? I didn't actually realize that if I didn't take care of myself and take my medication, then I could actually die from the condition I had. I thought that I just would become very unwell. I'm not even going to go into it now. But either way, what happened was I stopped taking my medication, because I held this belief that, the miracle cures that healing can do. We've all heard about it. I think if we start on these energy journeys, I've heard of so many people going, no, I'm going to cure myself. Well, to some extent, I'm not even going to go down that path. I'm going to say, in my situation, I stopped taking my medication. And I didn't feel like I was suffering from it or anything like that. But I had to go on a holiday to Perth, because obviously I'm in Western Australia. And while I was in Perth, I thought, I'm going to go and catch up with my old doctor and surprise him with my cure, because I hadn't had my blood test done for a long time. And I thought, he's going to be so amazed, and I'm going to say to him, you told me that this wasn't curable, but look at me, hey, I'm cured, because I felt really good. And of course, he did my blood test, and he was a bit frantic. He phoned me up and told me that I needed to get in straight away. I needed to prepare for a hospital visit. And he wanted to do a whole heap of tests. I was basically a pincushion as they checked my bloods. Now, the long story short was, he actually was amazed, okay? The underlying cause, which is a metabolic, if that's how you pronounce it, condition, which blocks your body's capacity to process minerals and vitamins and all of this kind of stuff, that was basically non-functioning. So we're talking about my thyroid here. It had basically ceased to function at that point in time. Of course, it's fine now, just so that you know. But what he was surprised about is that when he did all of my tests, I didn't have any deficiency. So I guess in some ways there was a miracle attached to it. But I will also say, too, from a psychological perspective, the moment I was pulled up about it, all of a sudden I felt extremely fatigued and that kind of stuff. But where I'm talking about with the miracles is, because I was in Perth, I'd also decided that I wanted to go to every metaphysical shop that I could go to. I wanted to see what was out there as part of informing and educating myself. But the amazing part, that this is why I've got the picture of the crystals up there, is every single store that I went to, in the end, because my sister was going in with me, we were both laughing. She was laughing. Because every store I went to had a healer of some variety there. It might be somebody that healed with gongs or drums or bowls or crystals, as in one case. But every time I went into a shop, these people would come up to me and say, I'm being guided to give you a healing. And I thought, well, I'm low income. Please don't. I can't afford to pay you. And I would just about to argue with them, say, look, really honestly, I can't afford to. And I never even would get the words out. They would just put their hand on my arm and say, no, it's my gift, right? I'm gifting this to you. So, I mean, what a beautiful blessing anyway. So I had many, many healings as I was doing the rounds over these few short weeks. And one of them included going to a crystal healer. Who did the same thing. But not only that, she actually taught me a lot of stuff that set me on my crystal journey, if you like. I was already into crystals, but I became hungry for crystals as well, hungry for crystal knowledge and that kind of stuff. So that was the next phase of my journey. I'm just going to check my notes to see that I haven't missed anything here. Just that, there was this ongoing growth. That's all. There's a lot more, but I can't talk all day about this. Otherwise, the video will get too long. So where I'm going with this too is that my initial focus on this journey was not about developing psychic gifts. It was very much on the healing energy and light, okay? And so I'm thinking there was something here I hadn't put into my notes, but this was actually pivotal to my journey as far as developing my psychic gifts, although it didn't happen for a while, where I consciously took control of this to be able to deliver tarot readings and mediumship readings, okay? So for quite a while, my focus was on healing energy, and being a healing vessel to deliver healing to other people. But something happened not long after I got back from Perth. This was the thing I'd forgotten about, but it's actually really important. I hadn't bought my angel cards, and I wasn't into angels at this particular time, but I was at my friend's shop and I was working in her shop helping her out, and I was in the window and this lady just charged in like a little rocket, and didn't know her from a bar of soap. But this is the magic of the universe bringing people together. When we're all following our guidance, it all happens for the right reasons at the right time. Anyway, this lady has come charging into the shop because she's seen me doing the window display, and she's looked at me and she said, you need my phone number. I said, really? Didn't know what to say to it actually. And she said, no. She said, I'm told you're a psychic. I said, no, I'm not actually. And she said, no, I'm being told you are. And she was actually quite abrupt. She's very Australian, very much, I suppose, like me. She just looked at me and she said, no, you are. She said, so just stop saying that you're not. She said, I'm told you are a psychic and I need to give you my card. And I looked at it and I thought, just say thank you. So I said to her, thank you very much. And I said, but I don't go to Perth very often. Oh, because somewhere in this conversation, she said, I'm going back to Perth tomorrow. So next time you're in Perth, you'll have to catch up with me. And she will teach me some stuff. She actually did, to be honest, but I'm not going to talk so much about that now. But either way, I was a bit skeptical myself at the time, so that was pivotal. That ended up, when I caught up with her in about a year or two after that, that was a very pivotal time for my development of my psychic gifts. But what happened in between times was, of course, I was guided to buy my angel deck, and I've loaded a video on my angel experience, so I don't want to repeat talking about how that transpired, shall we say. But shortly after I got my deck, this is when the universe brought 3 people together, 3 novices, you may as well say. We were living in an area where there were no teachers. Okay, there was nobody to tell us how we needed to practice our gifts, what we needed to be doing. What we ended up doing was we fumbled. We were just 3 people that were brought together that were developing our gifts at the same time and developing our understanding and knowledge. And because nobody had told us what can and can't be done, we were learning from our personal experiences, our understandings, the questions that we asked, and being open minded. We didn't have any preconceived ideas about what was right and what was wrong. And together we worked with our guides and we learned how to ask the questions and how to find the answers and how to establish what was true and what wasn't. Okay. I'm going to save that story for another day on how we actually work together as a team, because in hindsight, that was just amazing, an amazing experience. I count my blessings with that. Interestingly, we're no longer in touch. This is one of those things that people come in for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. But we did a lot of very rapid paced growth together for a period of time, and then we ended up going our different pathways. So that story, when I come to it, is going to be talking more about the angels and our angel experiences that we had, which were pretty incredible. But for now, though, I'm going to leave talking about me aside and get into the content to let you know what's coming up with the channel over the next week. But if you feel comfortable putting up your experiences and parts of your journey, I welcome it, and I would feel quite privileged and happy to have you share with me. Anyway, okay, back to the video here. Just to let you know, I have had to remove and re-upload some of the content because I found mistakes when we did an audit. They were fairly simple ones, but that's not the point. I do like the angel content to be fairly accurate, shall we say. So anyway, what you'll see is Jamira's been reloaded. Did I tell you guys this stuff last week or not? I can't remember. Look, I'm not actually even going to go into the whole slide because it will, my notes that I've got here, because at the end of the day, I don't want to actually bore you. And the thing is too, you'll be able to see just if there's, take a look at the angel playlist and you will see that there's been some more content that's uploaded. I didn't want to spam you out, so I haven't ticked the get notified box on a lot of them. And of course, I've got new content coming up and I'm still scheduling content and I'm still recording a lot of it too. So you will have seen the Angel of Faith content go up this week. Of course, that's about helping you to understand what faith is really. It's not always what we think it is, but you get examples and ideas. If you haven't watched it there, I think it's helpful because it makes you look at things a little bit differently. It helps you to understand what you can do to strengthen your faith. Okay, look, I'm not even going to think too much about that one. I'll let you check that out for yourself. Now, next week, of course, you've got Micah, the Angel of Divine Plan, going up. Now, this is one that I really like. I really love the messages that come through with the Divine Plan. And it's, if I can, depending on the situation, I'll speak to the subject of Divine Plan in the yarning. Probably only if you ask, to be honest. If you don't put a message up and ask me to expand on what my knowledge and understanding of the divine plan and free will is, and things like open keys and closed keys and predestination and soul packs and all of that, not all of that is actually included in the video of Micah, but I can certainly add my understandings to it if people ask. But when we talk about what the information that Micah does or Micah gives to us, or any of this angel content, it's just about strategy and technique to understand the process and how to be open to receiving the blessings, because they are busting their chops, believe you me. They just want to shower us. They just love us so much. They actually want to give us all these blessings, and we That will be you and me. We stand in our own way. We create the obstacles a lot of the time. So basically, they give us advice on how to bring these barriers down so that we can actually be open to receive the blessings. This is the key thing. And so Micah's role is to assist us to see, understand, and adhere to our divine plan. And so hopefully you'll find that video useful. This one will be loaded, I think, Thursday next week. I'm pretty sure. I always forget at the moment. I'm a bit like a sieve. I'm pretty sure the angel content is loaded on a Thursday. Yes, it is Thursdays. So I'm just going to gloss over the color content, which is if you're new to the channel, it's the color playlist. Okay, there's a whole heap of information that I'm loading, which is basically color messages. It gives you some idea on how colors interact, how we use colors. In fact, I would recommend the introduction, especially when it talks about color healing with the light and that kind of stuff. How we can draw upon color for healing. And so each of the individual videos talks specifically to a color and what the healing properties are, what they might be trying to tell us, as a guided messenger thing, like if we're drawn to a specific color, what is the guidance associated with that? Or what is it telling us where we need to work? Have we got an insecurity? Prime example of that, I think watermelon I've already put up, but if you're drawn to the color watermelon, it's probably telling you need to go out and have a bit more fun. You might be being a bit serious or whatever. So there's things like that associated with the color. But color playlist, folks, color playlist. So last week you will have seen the video for the color peach go up, the power of peach. And just a reminder, that of course draws on the yellow and the red. And when you bring in yellow and red, of course, you create a level of orange. Peach is a mix of the yellows, the reds, and the oranges when we're talking about healing properties. But yes, you can watch that one. It's already up. So you will have seen the lemon go up as well. The lemon is about innovative thinking and actually I would say mental alertness, and I probably could do a dose of lemon right now. Orange is scheduled for Tuesday, and as you can see, it's not this particular shade of orange is not your pure type orange. It's more of a rusty type orange, really, isn't it? It's kind of like a burnt orange. So it's got a grounded, practical aspect to it as well. But I will let you watch that one. Just a reminder, it's going to be scheduled for Tuesday at about 5:30 p.m. I don't know why I said 5:30 p.m. because the bottom line is it just depends on where you are in the world, doesn't it? So it gets loaded 5:30 p.m. my time in Western Australia, Perth, Western Australia. So work that out. But anyway, yes, apricot is loaded on Friday at the same time, because I try and schedule them so that you are aware, just to have this routine and stability attached to it. Apricot is actually a mix. If we were going to talk about colours, you're talking more about the yellow chakra type stuff with a little bit of the red in there, which brings through just a small amount of the creative aspects. And I'm struggling to articulate right now. It's actually a bit late in the day for me, but I shall crack on. And of course, when you talk about red, you're talking about will and willpower and that kind of thing. But I think I would put it down. Apricot's probably a little bit more of a playful colour as well. So when it comes to the art and the quotes, quotes are still going. They're all right. They're scheduled. If you want me to do anything specifically, by all means, let me know and I'll see what I can do. If you've got a preference as far as somebody that you want quotes, or if it's Wayne Dyer or anybody really, let me know and I'll check into it. You might even be into the Greek philosophers. I actually like them as well. They can be quite motivating and heartwarming at different times. So yeah, if you're into anything particularly, let me know if you want me to source something for you. As regards to the artwork, I am doing the artwork. I'm doing more of the angels because I'm working on this angel content, but I still don't feel that I've got enough that I can actually do art reels with. And plus, not only that, the ones that I'm getting, I actually want to keep as a surprise so that you can see them on the videos. But here's just a couple of examples here. Hope you like them. Now, in my head, I have this amazing dream that one day I might be able to knock over a yarning video in about 10 or 15 minutes. Clearly, that's not going to be today. I'll strive for it. I'll try. I'll keep going. But in the meantime, this is about all that I can give you for today. I hope that um, the content is interesting or offers you something that helps you to have a light bulb moment yourself to grow. I just want to remind you before I close out for today, if you haven't looked at the numerology stuff, I really do recommend people look at it for themselves. I do put chapters on all the videos so that you can actually go straight through to what it is that you need to find out. So it's going to be instructions on how to calculate numbers, and then there'll be chapters on how you can go in and find the answers that you're looking for. And the reason why I recommend it is because that was also one of the steps, one of my pathways. And it was probably later in the journey as far as things go. I think I found numerology probably about 2005, 2006, and it was an absolute mind blower for me. So yeah, I recommend everybody look into numerology, at least for themselves, to see if they can find out, get a little bit more insight, expand their awareness of themselves. Anyway, for now though, I'm just going to say thank you very much for being part of my journey. I'm going to love you, leave you, catch you on the next video. Have a safe week. Be blessed. Take care. Bye bye for now.